be able to protect your children. It's like, why did that have to happen to me? It's like I want to burst into tears for the 8-year-old Tanya, but like,
Mm.
yeah, little did
I would
you.
not go back and change it for the
Mhm.
world. I mean, it has, as I've gone around speaking and coaching, I have an empathy and an understanding that I would never have been able to have, right? And thankfully, I was able to come out of that experience and eventually understand and be given. I mean, I need to acknowledge that this was inspiration, divine inspiration, because it's there is no I didn't come up with this myself. And so the kind of the blueprint, if you will, of what my book goes through and what I speak about, I would never have that. I would never be able to help people with that. And so I'm just really, really grateful.
We can trust that we will be divinely guided today. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you.
Yay. It's a good place to be in.
Yeah.
Be in our heart today. So, welcome everyone. Welcome back to the Superbloom Podcast. Today, I'm honored to sit with a woman whose presence just feels so calming to me. A keynote speaker, mother, wellness mentor, and spiritual guide, Tonja Henderson is here. So, you're a mom of 6, you live in Utah, you're working on a book, you've been a keynote speaker. There's more to this, and the message and the purpose behind your book is what I'm the most curious about.
Okay. Um, well, if it's okay, maybe the most logical place to start is kind of what led me to even write a book. I'm not a writer. Once in a while, once in a while I feel inspired and I'll put something down on paper, but that's not that's not what I generally do. And so this book is quite a undertaking for me. And I did feel inspired to write it. It started back in my childhood. I mean, my parents weren't wealthy, but I never knew that. I had everything I needed. My parents loved me. I grew up with 2 sisters. We had good relationships. I lived a pretty charmed life, if you will. My days consisted of riding my bike up and down the streets, picking wild blackberries, sitting on the porch, being, um, you know, making with my parents, trying to make sure I never got too big for my britches. I'm from the South. Chasing lightning bugs. I mean, all the, just great things. And then when
Mm.
I was about 8 years old, we moved to Georgia. And it put us in fairly close proximity to some extended family. And my parents were wonderful and kind. And they reached out to a young man, an extended family member, who they knew his household was not a nurturing place at all. And I'll just leave it at that. It was not a good environment. And they offered for him to come live with us,
Wow.
um, just to give him more love, more support, help him to have the opportunity for a better life. And what they got in return was a sexual predator who
Mm.
not only stole valuables, you know, worldly stuff from them, but stole the innocence of their daughter. And, it happened in my home. It happened at the hands of somebody that I loved and trusted. I mean, I looked up to this young man, and it happened because my parents were kind and trying to help somebody. And it threw me for a loop. I mean, I would look in the mirror and not, I just saw this shell. I was around friends at school who went about their lives and everything seemed normal. They were happy, they were joking, they were studying, they were doing all that. And I went through those motions, but inside I felt crushed. I would look in the mirror and not recognize the person looking back at me before, where I had confidence and joy and happiness. Now it was just the mirror might as well have been broken into 1,000 pieces, right? And I tried to bury those feelings. Of course, I felt guilt and shame, which a child should never have felt. But I didn't talk to anybody. I never let my parents know.
Oh, wow.
And so it wasn't until college that I really started to deal with that because I realized it was affecting my ability to trust people, my ability to have deep relationships, meaningful relationships. And, the whole time I kind of felt like I was handling it. I had put it, buried it as what I had done. And finally, I got the confidence. My sister came to me and we talked, and together we kind of navigated some things about telling my parents and that sort of thing. And thankfully, there's no coincidences. And thankfully, during this time, I was put in contact with a woman who had previously been a counselor. And we had a very brief conversation, half an hour maybe. It changed my life.
Mm.
And the one thing she said to me was, Tonja, how long are you going to let this man victimize you? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, that was a long time ago. He's done. And she said, he's still having an effect on your life. And every time you think about him or you let him affect what you're doing from day to day, let him affect your relationships, he's abusing you all over again. You can't control what happened before. There's nothing you can do about it. But you and only you have control over what that's going to mean in your life going forward. You are the only one who gets to decide that. And while some people in the situation that I was in, having dealt with sexual abuse over a period of time, may need some deeper therapy. I'm not saying don't do that, but that was my guiding light, that statement. And that was all I needed to really start a journey of healing, of rebuilding my confidence, of taking those 1,000 broken pieces and putting them back together so that I could live beyond that, so that I could reframe that experience and do good with it.
Mm.
So that's where my journey started. That's what has led me to
Mm.
talk to people. Not everyone, uh, thankfully, hopefully, not everyone that will hear this or that, listens when I speak or will read the book will be dealing with an experience of sexual assault, sexual abuse. But I guarantee you, everyone at some point will have an experience that backs you up against the wall and makes you feel like you don't know how to go forward.
Mm.
And until you decide what those steps are to take, the decision is yours. Until you understand that, and the decision is yours about what to make out of that experience, no matter what it is, then you kind of struggle. You kind of simmer in this uncertainty and a lack of confidence and a lack of success in at least some areas of your life. And so my message is all about making that decision and using the gifts and the experiences that you've been given to do good, to help yourself, to help others, and to be more successful in the things that really matter in life.
Thank you for sharing this and being at this place. I feel like you're at a place where you could talk about it. Like we
Mhm.
can, it's
Yeah.
what I mean by that is I know for myself and other people that have been through similar experiences, it's like you'll know when you're ready to share because you can talk about it. There's something that's gone on inside of you where you have gotten to this place where you're, I don't know if you would call it a blessing, but you're able to see, okay, this is part of this bigger mission that I
Sure.
came here with in this life. And your
Mhm.
comment about there are no coincidences, I wholeheartedly agree with that statement. I think it's way more fun when we believe that too. Like life can be,
Yes.
doesn't have to be about, so hard and sad. I mean, there are moments that will be, but it's like, oh, wait, this is a piece of a puzzle. Like this
Right.
actually connects to something else that I might not understand yet. But the questions I have are mostly around, well, the way you shared how your parents, open up their home out of kindness and were almost like punished for that in some way, or you were the one that was punished, and maybe your sister too. I'm not sure if
Mm.
once you guys started talking, but the point is that now what? As a mom, like you have 6 kids, it's like, did it affect you, you think, and the way you chose to raise them and whether or not to
Oh,
allow
yeah,
other
for
people?
sure. I mean, I would never wish that experience on anybody, right? Um, However, my children are much more aware, much more educated um, than
Mm.
they would have been. And so, am I glad I had that experience? Yes, in a way, because if I can protect them and understand how to help them not have that experience, I am so grateful.
I have
I
like
have
chills all
come,
over my body. Oh,
yes, yes.
to be able to protect your children. It's like, why did that have to happen to me? It's like I want to burst into tears for the 8-year-old Tanya, but like, yeah, little did
I would
you.
not go back and change it for
Hmm.
the world. I mean, it has, as I've gone around speaking and coaching, I have an empathy and an understanding that I would never have been able to have, right? And thankfully, I was able to come out of that experience and eventually understand and be given. I mean, I need to acknowledge that this was inspiration, divine inspiration, because there is no, I didn't come up with this myself. And so the kind of the blueprint, if you will, of what my book goes through and what I speak about, I would never have that. I would never be able to help people with that. And so I'm just really, really grateful.
So is this kind of the through line in your life that kind of led you to where you are, or what was kind of the first step in your work? Like, how did you find your way to a wealth and wellness business? I love
Yeah.
that.
It was partly that. I never planned to do this. I never planned to speak until just a couple of short years ago. Never planned on writing a book. It was not even on my bucket list. And I was at an event where I met a man who was getting ready to do a speaking tour. He's an incredible speaker. And my husband and I were at an event with him. We were talking just over, I think, over dinner. We just had this conversation. He mentioned he was going on this tour. He said, I'm looking for people to speak to me and just talking to you guys. Both of you have a message. He wanted to go into communities, especially minority communities, where people felt trapped. They felt like they were victims of the system and didn't know how to escape that. They'd been taught that they were victims. They were part of a system that, perpetuated that. And they didn't even consider that there was a way out of that. And so
Mm.
that was his message. He had incredible message and contacts. And so my husband is a financial advisor and does great work with that. And so he wanted him to speak about the financial part of that and wanted me to speak about the mindset part of that. And I had never, I mean, other than, giving a talk in church or, doing some sort of presentation in school, I had never really done much of that at all. And when I stood on stage for the first time and spoke, it was an amazing experience for the people that came up to me afterwards and just said, that's those 40 minutes changed my life. And I knew then, I mean, I felt like I had been, and I say this not because I've done anything great, but I felt like I had been given a gift of speaking that I didn't even know I had until that moment. So it wasn't anything that I planned. To say it fell in my lap is not an exaggeration. That's exactly what happened. And but it's been a fantastic experience. I've loved it. I've loved traveling and speaking to people and giving a message of hope and of value. So
Yeah, in a way, like a way through. Like you're
yeah.
reminding me about the comment you made about the woman, the counselor that you talked to in college, and how just
Mhm.
that one question or that one
Yeah,
statement, like, how long are you going to let this continue? Because it's your
right.
choice, even though it wasn't back then, it's your choice now to continue. And so for someone to say to you after doing something that felt like a gift to do, that your words just changed their life, to me, that's everything about Superbloom in itself. It's like when we're on that path, when we're rising through the barren desert, because just the right mix of elements, just the right person at the right dinner table and the invitation that you said just the right thing to. You said yes, even though part of you was like, me? Why?
Exactly. I was like, wait, you want me to do what? Like
Like going to
go
talk
to
them out of it.
Georgia? And interestingly, we went back to Georgia within 10 minutes of my home where all this happened. And so
Oh,
it was such a healing experience, such a rejuvenating experience to be able to go back. And there was there was no dread. I actually went to my house and it just happened. There's no coincidences, right? It just happened that the man who now owned the house was in the yard and let us in to look at this house. I mean, it was really remarkable, a remarkable experience. And it's just kind of grown from there. And I hope it keeps going. I just am trusting that the next step will appear when it's supposed to. And I'll work as hard as I can to do good with what I've been given, and we'll go from there.
yeah. And so as you're writing and finding this space in your day to do that, what are I'm just curious with six children. I know some of them are older now, but it's like what are some of the strategies you've learned over the years to help you? I mean, we've joked in the past about the word balance, but to find, that point where you matter in the day. Like how Tanya's doing
Yes.
matters and
I do have a pretty unpopular opinion about balance. People talk about balancing life, and I just don't, that's a fallacy to me. Had I tried to balance my life when I had little toddlers, it's a pointless ambition. Now, and I'm not saying don't take care of yourself. I'm not saying, don't make time for yourself and your spouse and that sort of thing. But rather than balance, I believe in order, that
Mm,
there's an order of things. And at that time in my life, when I had little children, there was an order to things and they were first. And when when our kids were little, my husband did this object lesson. I don't know what else to call it, but we used to have Monday nights were kind of set apart for us. Monday nights was family night, right?
mm,
And we treated that as really sacred time. We didn't have meetings, we didn't schedule visitors, we didn't go on dates, we didn't do anything else on Monday night. We were with our family. There was 3 hours right after dinner that we just held that time for family night. And we would do some sort of message lesson. We planned our calendar for the next week, and then we did some sort of fun activity. And my husband brought in one night, he was doing the message, and he brought in a jar and had about 30 golf balls and another jar of sand. And he said, golf balls are these important things in our life that we really need to do. They're the priorities, they're the things that really matter. And the sand is all the other stuff. It's the paperwork, it's the appointments, it's the calls, it's the homework, it's, all this other stuff. And he said, and so if we take the calls and the appointments and the homework and we dump all that sand in the jar and then we try to fit in the things that really matter, those golf balls wouldn't all fit in the jar. So then he dumped the sand out, he dumped the golf balls out, and he put the golf balls in first. And then he poured the sand in, and everything fit. And it was
mm,
because it was done in the right order. And
mm,
my kids still, some of them were, 6 and 7 years old when he did that, and they're 20 and 30 now. They all remember that
mm, mm,
lesson. And so they'll, oh, I'm worried about time or whatever. And sometimes they'll say, well, put the golf balls in the jar. Are the golf balls in the jar? I mean, it's just a normal thing around our house now to say.
mm.
And I really believe that, had I tried to put an equal amount of golf balls and sand, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's the order that's important. And so you can, like me or hate me for that. That's fine. I don't care. But I don't believe in balance. I believe in order.
Yeah.
And
No,
that
but
is,
I think like you're a golf ball in there,
yeah,
there's,
sure.
your teeth get brushed, your hair gets,
Yes.
cut, but
Yes.
it's which golf ball happens first, I think
Correct.
matters too. Do you feel like looking back that made the most sense now? Like how your kids are and how you live your life? Like it just sounds like you were very wise in that decision, to put your children first.
Yes, it was something that I thought long and hard about. Because, you and I, we've grown up two generations at least now where we've told that women should be boss babes and have the same career. We should do the same things that men do, and that I mean that was I struggled with that because I believe in the feminine and masculine. I think there's a really this is one area that I do believe in balance. I think there's a really beautiful balance there.
Mm,
And when we've been lied to as women, first of all, to we've been completely misled in thinking that in order to be fulfilled, in order to be happy, in order to be successful, we have to do the same things men do. And I believe that men have gifts and talents and skills that allow them to be everything that they potentially can be. And women, even though there's some crossover, obviously, I believe that we have a very feminine set of gifts and skills and talents and innate, abilities that allow us to be as successful as we have the potential to be. And so the decision whether to step into a career, there was lots of things I wanted to do, right? Um, and I still might at some point, I don't know. But I just knew that I only had one shot at this mother thing.
mm,
And we have such a short time with them, really,
mm,
that I want to, if I didn't get anything else right, that's what mattered the most to me
mm,
was, you know, there's no success that compensates for failure in that area, really. And not that we're going to be perfect. I certainly don't want to give that impression because I was far from it. I learned lessons along the way for sure. But I wanted my children to have my best efforts. I wanted my family to have the best of me. And
mm,
knowing myself, I just knew that if I went wholeheartedly after a career and if that was my priority and my ambition, I knew what was going to suffer.
mm.
Um,
And that's,
and-
that's your truth. And maybe you
yeah,
experience that, like that's what's true to you. And when we honor that and show up to that every day instead of being, like you were saying, you struggled with the boss babe, but in a way you didn't at all because you knew, this, I hear you. It looks fun, but it just doesn't jive with, where I've got to put my energy with my six,
right.
children.
Yeah.
And I only have one child, but I do believe, I mean, we can play with the word balance again, but I do believe there's a balance between, and jokingly, like the balance looks like this, right? It's not, it's
Right.
up and down. It's never really side to side, but it's this
Right.
concept that there's a diagonal going either way of, okay, today's more about my child, today's more about me, or this week, or this year. But what am I chipping away at or moving forward still that's,
Right.
makes my heart sing? And finding, for me, it's finding ways they overlap. That's
Yes.
been the most like creatively
Yes.
challenging but fun. Um, because like as when she was a baby, I was just thinking back, because now she's almost 5, to how not every child would do this. I just thought because she was a baby, I could bring her with headphones to music. And it was 2021. So in the summer,
Awesome.
everyone had backyard. I knew a lot of musicians and they had backyard music parties with live
Oh,
bands. And so
fun.
I'd set her up in this little tent thing and she'd chill or she'd crawl around in the grass. She learned how to like run in one of the people's backyards. And
Oh,
it was just this like, but she loves people. Like now that she's older, I can
right.
see like, oh, she loved the music. She loved being around people. She was soaking up the vibes, even though she couldn't tell me what was going on. Where other people, oh, my child would never. Like I didn't realize
Right.
how blessed I was to have this like match um,
Yeah.
until now. But I do believe like, so I'm curious. There must have been little things during the days that with 6 kids and their food and their clothes and their needs, and then your husband, and then your like livelihood and keeping that going, or if you had to move, or like there must have been moments where you said, okay, I've got to give myself these 5 minutes for this, or I've got to take time to do that so I can just fill back up my cup enough to to do these
Oh,
six
yeah.
things right now. Or I'm just
Yes.
curious what some of your, if you can think back to, like, was it that coffee in the morning routine where it was quiet in the morning, or was there like yoga class you would treat yourself to once a month, or was there anything that,
Yes, there were, I mean, there were several things like that. And my husband and I um, had businesses along the way, right? I mean, we've been involved in real estate for years, and I managed properties, and the kids would come along with me. They would help me clean. We had restaurants, and so they've gone and set up catering, and they helped me fill lunch boxes, for the football players at the university. So that, I mean, there was, I'm not saying that we were always home, sitting in a circle reading books or anything, but um, I always have loved to read. And
mm,
so at night, I read to all my kids, but at night after everybody went to bed, I took time for myself to read. Sometimes it would get me in trouble because I'd get involved in a good book and then all of a sudden look at the clock and it's 4 in the morning. And that makes the next day not so much fun. Things like that. I always took time for spiritual learning,
mm.
and growth, for worship, which I feel like really helped to renew my spirit and my energy for the week. Um, I had friends that we'd go sit at the park and the kids would play and we would sit and drink our hot chocolate and have a chat. And so I did make time for those things that refill your bucket, so to speak. I don't want to give the impression that it was, 100% kids. But
But
it
you
was,
wove it in.
I
You
wove it
were
in.
the
Yeah,
sand.
we
You
wove
might have
it
been the
in.
sand, but it always fit.
That's
Yeah.
right. It always fits. It always fits. So
Oh, I love
I
this so
took dance classes. I
Oh,
I was
good.
a dance minor in college, and so I go take, dance classes once in a while and art classes and things like that. So,
Because these are all the things that will inspire your daughters, that will
right,
help them see.
right.
And it sounds like there was a lot going on, but for you, it was all kind of, you just, I don't know if it's like you just do it, like the businesses with your husband on top of what needs to happen for the kids and bringing them along. But I think that's all beautiful. Like that's what I want. Like I want my daughter to see what work is, like bring your child to work day. Like,
Yeah,
they used to have those days, but like that is what every day is for us,
right,
like she sees
right.
what I do and it's so cute to see her model it. Like she'll pretend to do podcasts or she'll
Oh, how fun.
pretend to be singing. And I think part of that's just her, the performer in her, but she sees me do things that I wonder if that's, what she's modeling.
Of course,
And I love that, and I
of
want
course.
her to, she's excited about work and anything I give her for a task. She's just so happy to do it. Well, most of the time.
Oh,
But do you know what I mean? Like realizing like work can be fun when you see it through
sure,
a child's eyes.
sure.
But I just know for myself in the beginning, especially understanding what it felt like when I wasn't in balance or when my nervous system, I guess you can think of, was in survival mode the whole time. And for me, balance is when, you give yourself time to rest. You give yourself time to do the things that bring you joy, like read the book that you want to read. You love green eggs and ham, but tonight I'm reading.
The 40th time
Yeah. How much animation can know. And it's fun. It's fun to for me at least to reinvent every book, each night and just be that present. But there's also this kind of undercurrent of doubt and worry that I've dealt with a lot in the beginning where it was just, am I doing the right thing by my child? Like, is this the way to do the routine? Is this the right thing to feed them? Is this fever really going to go down on its own? Like all these things that emotions and energies that we navigate a lot of the time alone because it's 2 in the morning when you're trying to make a decision. Should I wake the whole family up and take this child to the hospital or what do I do right now?
drag everybody into the car. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I
Yeah.
can only imagine times six, like how many intuitive decisions you've navigated through the
Oh
years.
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to measure that. And some things that weren't intuitive at first, by the time number 5 or 6 came along, I'm all, yeah, now it's intuitive. Now I know what to do. And then, contrary to that, some things that worked with the first child, you do them on the second child, and you're so, wait a second, this is not working with this one. What am I doing wrong? And so It's
Mm,
learning. It's learning for everybody, this world and families and kids are the best university there is on the planet. So,
mm. The kids are the best universe on this planet. That is gold right there. Yes,
mm.
I agree wholeheartedly.
I mean, I've learned about, I never expected to learn strategies of baseball or or, or how to teach someone, US history or finding out what the real history was or
Mm,
I did a few years where I homeschooled my kids for part of the time. They did school part of the time. There was a couple of years where we only did homeschool, and that was scary to me. Like again, not ever on my bucket list. But I felt at the time that that was the best thing for our family and for our children. And I was so worried that I would do it wrong. Like, I never taught school before. Are they going to be behind? Are they, and it was all good. It wound up being really, really a blessing, really good. So
wow.
you learn and you grow with them.
Yes. Talk about changes your life. Like when my child was a baby, a woman who had two kids was like, the good news is you don't have to know everything yet. Like you'll grow with them.
Right.
And what you just said is like
Yeah.
an echo of that. So those are the moments. Okay. So how words can just be so profound and powerful. And so I'm curious for you this can kind of be where we close today, but I want to dig into homeschooling. I have so many other questions that I want to ask you, but for today, your mission and your passion behind speaking in this book, like I wonder if comments like from that person that first day, that first time in Georgia, is that what motivates you and inspires you, or is there some other deeper like purpose behind like writing the book you never thought you'd write? Like what is that? Do you even know yet, or are you still just doing it and trusting that you'll know soon
Well, I
enough?
know I know exactly what's going to be in the book. It's a matter of putting everything that's here onto paper.
But
Um,
why? Like why are you even motivated to do
why?
it?
Number
Yeah.
one, I want my children to have it. Like I said, at
Mm,
some point, everyone is going to face themselves,
yeah.
right? And at that point, if you don't dig deep and you don't understand that there is a bigger purpose. Like you were not, I firmly believe you were not put on this earth to sit the sidelines. And you certainly weren't put here to sit the fence. You were put here for a purpose at a certain time and a place to go make the world a better place, to go be a force for good.
Mm,
And and when you face that crisis, that internal crisis of who am I? Do I really have worth? Do I have value? Do I have something to offer? Is this it? Or is there more for my life? If you don't have a guide through that, if you don't have something to hold on to, too many people spend far too much time questioning themselves
mm,
and not knowing how to find that purpose. And so that's the intention with this book is to I want my children to have that. I want them to know, kind of that motivation for me. How do you what are those steps to take when you really want to go be a force for good, when you're ready to do that? And not only for my children, also for, whoever it can benefit.
mm,
It's one of the things it's interesting that you just had the importance of words. When I coach people and when I talk to them, one of the first things we talk about is input. And, that includes, of course, things you listen to, the music you hear, the TV shows you watch, the media, the conversations you have with other people. But the most important thing is the conversations you have with yourself, the things you tell yourself. And little things like I never used to think about before I started this process. Like, how many times do we say, oh, I have to go to the grocery store? Oh, I have to go take my daughter to tennis. I'm sorry, but do you know how many people there are in the world that would love to be able to go to a store and pick from a variety of foods? Do you know how many people there are in this world who would love to have the resources to send their children to extracurricular activities? I don't have to do that. Nobody's holding a gun to my head to do that. That's a choice that I make. I get to go to the store. I get to take my daughter to classes. How many times do we look and we say, I can't do that? I can't do this. We use words because, but, I would have done this, but something.
Mm,
And we use that to justify what we're not doing or what we are doing. And those words carry such importance in our subconscious mind that it changes everything, the words that we use. And so I love that you said that, how important words are, because the words, language, the words we use, the conversation we have with ourselves, the conversations we allow ourselves to participate in and to absorb
mm.
have such a huge effect on us.
Yeah. And
Such
like
a
with
huge.
input, like what I think of it as like what we're consuming and what
Mhm.
we're letting in. And then now we have to digest, like with
Yeah,
food, it's like what parts of this, like with my daughter, there's certain shows that I'm like, I don't like the vibration of that show, hon.
right.
How does that make you feel? Like just helping her
Yes.
like even notice that, oh,
Oh,
I'm
she's
not
so
breathing.
lucky that you are guiding her that way. How does that make you feel? That's a huge thing because we ignore those things, you know?
Yeah. And I think for us as adults, like this is the work that I'm finding I'm helping mostly for myself, but like with others now too, is there's a belief system behind I have to do this, this energy of there is no choice, but
Right.
there always is. So for you, you don't feel like there is and why, just exploring like for me, I had to realize I just don't love going into the grocery store every time, but I do like it as a fun adventure. But it changes the dynamic, especially with a child. I want her to experience a grocery store, but having my groceries delivered was the biggest shift that I made
Oh,
that made me realize like, oh my gosh, like I don't, you know what I mean? But
so
owning,
fantastic. So
but and
fantastic.
then being
Biggest time
grateful
saver ever.
and I'm so grateful to the people that pack it for me and that put it in
Yes.
a bag and that deliver it to my door. And I always say thank you. And I'm just so, and my daughter got to like wave to them. I don't know. It became
Uh,
a whole little routine and I've continued it, but I'm still working through the beliefs around why that's bad or why I shouldn't do that or, the
oh,
cost of it or
if it's
I don't
bad, you're going to have to let me know because I'm
know.
like, saves me
This is what I'm
time, saves me money, you know?
I was wondering if those were like life hacks, and I think that the belief behind it is all that's if you want to call something good or bad. It's like
Oh,
I can feel there's a discord or dissonance when I say it's bad to do that. Like I don't believe that. Honoring and acknowledging the words we say and the vibration they carry. Like that's kind of the way I approach it is like, how does
mhm.
this feel to say this word? And having people actually feel like, how does it feel to say the word faith? How does it feel to say the word joy? How does it feel to say the word work? And I had somebody say one time, like, oh, that word work really threw me off. Where somebody else, like my daughter, might get excited by it and just start
Right.
doing all these things, pretending to be at a cash register. Like, she loves work. But we each have our own belief systems around
Yeah.
like the connotation we each have is going to be different. Even like the word gun, whatever. There's a whole, I could go on this forever, but there's a connection we have to words and there's a vibration that we're connecting to. And some people it will be the similar, but some of us it won't be. So honoring that too. So anyway, I could talk about that forever, but
I know,
I
right?
love that you brought this up about input. And then for me, it's like the output. Like what happens if we just consume horror movies all day? How do we feel that next day? How do we approach
I
our
think
day?
it
What if
was Proctor that said determines input determines output, output determines outlook, outlook determines outcome, outcome determines destiny. So
Mm,
everything is dependent upon that income,
mm, mm.
input, right?
I love that little
Um,
slip because there's energy in
not
that
true.
word. That's yeah.
Not true, that too.
It's
But
like the income of nutritional energy. It's like what we're if we think of input as income. Ooh, I love that. Like that.
yeah.
I don't think there was a mistake there, but yeah, there's something there
Well,
too.
and you brought up nutrition, and that is something too that's input that we, right now we are so starved for good nutrition. To,
Mm.
most of the people in the world right now think a balanced diet, here's the word balance again, but a balanced diet is a Mountain Dew in both hands, and it's that too had a huge impact on my journey in this book. It's, I just I have a really strong belief that you cannot be successful in other areas of your life unless you're taking care of your physical being as well. And so your mental health, your spiritual health, your financial health, your physical health are all so closely tied together that it's impossible to completely separate them.
Mm,
And I'm not saying there's a magic pill or anything like that or a miracle pill, but when you give your body what it really needs, your body does miraculous things.
mm,
And there's so many people who spend the first part of their life spending their health to get wealth.
mm,
And then they spend the rest of their life using up that wealth to get their health back.
mm.
And there's no reason to do that when you understand the connection and you understand some simple ways to take care of yourself physically. We only get one physical body,
Yeah.
and it's highly, highly important to understand that connection between those aspects of your life because it's impossible to separate.
Yeah. And knowing when your nutritional needs have been met versus
Mhm.
not, being able to sense, for me, it's like my bowel movements will let me know,
Yes.
like if my belly is like upset or if I'm getting gastration, they call it, it's like, oh, right. I don't do well with peppers or like, I don't do like, there's just certain things my body tells me
You're
that,
tired all the time.
yeah, or
It's
even with like
fine.
caffeine and well, coffee. I used to drink coffee all the time and I didn't realize the routine I had created for myself of like irritable bowels every morning. Like it was just this routine that I had created as
Um,
normal. But then when I stopped drinking coffee, I realized I'm not drinking any water. Like I
mm.
don't drink water until like 2 p.m. because the caffeine, I just don't even think
Oh,
to drink water.
yeah, I substituted a few years ago. I went to this green drink, changed my
Okay.
life. But I
Yeah.
mean, it's just amazing what a simple change like that will do. And like I said, we're not getting even if we eat well, we're not getting the nutrients from the foods now that we would have 50, 100 years ago, you
I
know?
know.
So if we're not conscious about it, we can really put ourselves in a bad state. And you don't even realize it sometimes because it happens so gradually, you know?
But like our bodies are talking to us. So
Yeah.
we'll know if we listen that that green drink is the right move for you, Tanya,
Yep.
or drink more water in the morning before you have coffee, Osha, or don't eat that cookie. Or like, there's just certain things, but maybe that cookie's fine tonight. But because
Right.
I just had seven yesterday, it's not today, like my body needs to clean out. Like that's the balance that I found in my
Right.
mind. And I want to teach to my daughter because once she learned about sugar, because it's been manufactured in a way to turn on every happy chemical in your brain, that's all she thinks about and that's all she wants. But instead of teaching her what we kind of tell ourselves now to try to fear-based get ourselves not to do it is like that is bad. That will cause, I don't know, for some people it's like weight gain, but for me it's like high blood pressure and just
Yeah.
throwing off my body's natural systems. But I don't want to scare her and I want her to have a childhood
Yeah.
at the same time. She does know the word chemicals and she has known that word since she was like 3, but now she can say it. But
Wow,
it's
that.
helping her understand that in order to make that color blue on the sprinkles, like they have to make it with chemicals, honey. So we don't want to
Right.
put that much of that in our bodies because our body has to break that down and our body has to, did you have blue poop tonight? Like we'll just like try to like make a joke out of it so that she can learn. Because I don't think I was taught, my mom raised us really well with like beans and rice and salad, and she didn't have a lot of money, but she made it work. Like chips and
Mhm.
salsa were kind of like our treats. But I had friends that I'd go to for the Wonder Bread and the orange soda and the bologna sandwiches and macaroni and cheese, but they loved coming to my house for the chips and salsa
Oh,
and
isn't that
salad.
interesting?
But I don't think I understood at that time what's happening in the brain. And so even now, when I give my daughter something, like I started giving her macaroni and cheese, and I don't think I will. I don't think I'm going to continue it. But because of that, I started to realize I still had this unhealthy relationship with it. Like she would
Interesting.
only eat a few bites because she's listening to her body and she knows I want this or I think I want this. I make it for her and then she doesn't eat it and I make her salmon or something that I would have made
Right.
anyway. But
Right.
that's the easy way to get her fed. There's so many things around nutrition and what our bodies are saying to us that I'm learning from my daughter. Because even though she loves
Mhm.
sugar, when I give her all the options, like she'll pick a bite of that or she'll just lick the frosting off the cupcake and then she'll want the
Something
chicken
good.
or yeah, where I don't know if we as adults that are trained don't do that. Like, at least for me, it's this like rebellion against myself. But then I realized nobody's winning here, Osha. Your body,
Right. Our
like,
bodies are amazing
yeah.
things. And I think if we really understood the, mm, for lack of a better word, the gift that they are,
Hmm.
what they allow us to do and what their potential is, we'd attempt to be anyway, a lot more aware and demand that we get better food, you
It's
know?
beautiful. Yeah. I think I'm going to be the voice of my body for my brain and override because I do feel like part of it's just this learned conditioning of the chemicals that are
Mhm.
created by the food you eat, like the happy chemicals or the like endorphin chemicals, not the ones you're ingesting. But what you just said, it's like my body is a sacred vessel of the divine soul within, and I want to take care of it and I want to optimize it so that I can continue this beautiful, like it's the bridge between like the physical and the,
Mhm. Spiritual.
the
Yeah.
spiritual, and I want to respect and honor that. And the more I do that, the more I cleanse my body, the more I listen to my body when it's like, is this the right thing to eat right now? It's pretty amazing. I mean, it's a little trickier when you're shopping online, but like when I go in the store, like there's a smaller store, we have fun, they have a little, she can push a little carriage for herself. And
Oh,
I
that's
can, at least in the produce section, I have a little time to like, what, and I try new vegetables this way, and like it's like kinesthetically, like it's just like your body knows, okay, this feels good. I'm gonna try this. And sometimes my daughter will pick out vegetables that I'm like, I wouldn't have even tried that. She
interesting.
hadn't, yeah. Do
It'd
you
be
want to?
interesting to go through and do like body testing, muscle testing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with that at
That's
all,
what I
but
meant. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
stick a thing of broccoli. I have sometimes when I go talk and I talk about nutrition, I'll have somebody come hold a Snickers bar or think about their favorite treat or whatever. And your body will tell you what's good for it and what's not. It's amazing.
And the mind overrides, like you say, Snickers. And
Yep.
I can remember when I worked for 7 years running events in a corporation, and my boss, the VP of marketing, he would eat a Snickers at some point in the day. And of all the candy in there, somehow we thought that had the most protein, or like the marketing made you think that was the most
Right.
healthiest, sustaining item in that of the candy bars. And it's just, it's all crap, But I've taught my daughter fake food. She's like, is this fake food, mom? And I'm like, anything that's in a package that is probably not real, honey. It's like if it doesn't come from a tree, they have to do something to it to put it in this package. And embracing that for myself too, and letting go of these, oh, this is the treat that my friend used to have. But my body's asking for it. Like my body's demanding it, like you said. And I do believe that it's been whispering this whole time. And it's just, it had to yell at me. It had to give me high blood pressure and some weird stuff that I'm still working through. But
Mm.
when I move my body, when I drink more water, I feel like I'm giving it the, I don't know if it's like lubrication or something to just keep what I'm consuming both physically, like with my food, but also like in my environment, the people,
Mhm.
the air, the water, and the exercise, I feel like are the two key components for me that just keep things moving.
Well, yeah, you're not alone. I mean, studies show that almost 90% of people are chronically slightly dehydrated. And even not to get too technical scientific here, but even a 2% reduction in the necessary water, 2% causes your brain to shrink.
Hmm.
And so the
Oh my God,
water
I'm
is
gonna drink some right now.
huge, huge. But not only water, but minerals. We don't get minerals anymore. And you were talking about the Snickers marketing thing. Gatorade is one of the
Mhm.
best, most misleading marketing jobs that has ever been done.
Electrolytes, they're gonna fill up, they're gonna help me when I
Electrolytes.
do all this athletic
Yeah, it's
endeavors.
got what, two electrolytes in it and so much sugar and dye that those counteract any good that Gatorade ever does.
Okay.
But we feed it to our young kids that are athletes that need it the most. And there's better ways to do it. But you and I can get together afterwards. I'll tell you how to help your blood pressure.
Yes, I would love that. And I feel like just to kind of bring it back around and our closing here, but when I was pregnant, that was when I realized how many ounces of water I should be drinking a day. Like I never even thought about it. Like how many ounces of water should I be drinking a day? When I used to run marathons and like I knew I didn't want to overhydrate because somebody had done that running a marathon. So I was always looking for that balance of like still have to urinate, but didn't
Well,
the
can I
whole
tell you a
time.
fun story about
Yeah.
pregnancy? So you mentioned I have six kids. I was really sick during my pregnancies, really sick. And like couldn't get out of bed a lot of days, sick, the whole 9 months. And with my sixth child, my husband's a scientist, and he walks in those smart scientific circles. And he had a friend, and he was telling him, she's just really struggling. And we just found out. I mean, when I found out I was pregnant, I cried, not because I didn't want a baby, but with that sixth child, I had these other five little children.
Yeah.
I couldn't be the mother that I wanted to be. I knew what was coming over the next 9 months, and I just dreaded it because it just wasn't what I wanted, and I felt so sick. Anyway, my husband brought home this green drink. In fact, it's this one that I just showed you. And he was like, "Carrie, I want you to drink this. My friend recommended this." And I'm like, "You got to be kidding me. Like, I already feel like I'm gonna lose everything. And you want me to drink something that looks like swamp water?" I said, "You take it downstairs, you put it in a black cup with ice, and then I'll attempt to drink it." And so he did. I drank that cup. It's a drink that has all the electrolytes, all the trace minerals in it.
Mm.
Within an hour, I was out of bed.
Hmm.
Within a week, I wasn't nauseous anymore at all. And I took it, and that's when it kind of hit me. I thought, I got to take this to my OB because, like, what kind of voodoo is this? Am I doing something? It's okay to have. And I took it there, and he goes, "Oh my goodness, I wish every pregnant woman would use this because part of what makes you so sick, because you're making a baby, all the minerals get sucked out of your body to make those little bones, to make that little body. And it leaves you dehydrated. Even if you're drinking a ton of water, it leaves you dehydrated in the sense you don't have those electrolytes, those minerals. And if you've ever been dehydrated and had to go to the hospital, like that's one of the first symptoms. You feel nauseous, like you don't want to drink, you don't want to do anything, but it's because your body doesn't have those minerals that it needs. I was sick one day my entire pregnancy after I started drinking it.
Oh my gosh, did you have a moment where you were like almost mad that you didn't find this drink?
Yes. Are you kidding me? I was like, this has been here the whole time. Like, that's all I needed to do. Why didn't you tell me?
That is such a blessing and a reminder of life. Like what I'm finding in life is like everything's just right behind this curtain we haven't like opened yet. It's like it's been there this whole time.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating, but also a blessing. It's like, okay, well,
Yes.
this last baby got, at least I could, these other children weren't gonna, you still had to be pregnant and care for five children, but at
Well,
least.
and to be fair, had I not had such a miserable experience, I'm not sure I would have drank it because it's
Mhm.
green. And now green drinks are everywhere. But, back then there was no green drinks in the market. And I was just like, that looks like something you just dredged out of the swamp.
Imagine what that tastes like, and it is not good.
No, it's actually really good. It's really mild mint, which helps too. This one is really good. I'll drink it every day because I not only did it help me like not be sick from my pregnancy, but I just felt so much better. I mean, it was definitely like you were talking about earlier, something that my body told me you you need this. And I can tell now, I can tell if I go a couple of days and don't drink it because I don't have energy, I don't have the mental clarity. It's amazing.
The things I would love to talk to you about next time are to learn more about this, because I have thoughts around, if not this, then something better, but this awareness, like to tap into that intuition, that part of you, like you can do the muscle testing. There's other ways, depending on how you make decisions, you'll know when this is the right choice for you. But the concept that we aren't getting what we need from our water anymore for minerals, we aren't, unless you live in Costa Rica where the springs are like, it's you've got to add them, and find real clean ways to do that so that you're actually able to absorb them. Talk about that. Talk about,
No, you and I think, should just like go on a week-long vacation
oh my gosh,
together and just where we have every time we get together, I'm just like, oh, I could spend forever talking to you.
so many thoughts and connections. And I love how it gets really good towards the
Yeah.
end. There's so much more to come. But before we close officially, I just wanted to see if there was anything we didn't get to talk about, or if there's anything you wanted to say.
Oh gosh.
And yeah. Yeah, there was just so much that came through. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, I mean, I could go on for an hour about, the other steps in my book, but
yes.
if I could just leave people with one message, it would be you are 100% accountable for your life.
Mm.
100%. You must make the decision to do that. You can change your life, you can change your circumstances, you can use bad experiences that you've had for good, you can reframe them and use them for good, and it's all up to you. No one else can tell you that. No one else can make that decision for you. It must come from within you. But when you're ready to do that, the world and beyond open up to you because it changes everything.
Hmm. It's beautiful. I'm so grateful for these words because it's everything and it shifts the whole trajectory of our lives when we approach it with this understanding that it's all up to us how we perceive everything. Ah, this has been so wonderful. Thank you so much, Tanya.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. It's such a pleasure always to talk to you. I can't wait till next time.
So excited for next time, and I love this idea of a week-long retreat together. What could come out of that?
Who knows?
Amazing. Um,
Change
ah,
the world.
yes. I love the biggest takeaways for me are just this reminder about words, letting them be, finding what feels good to us, balance, input, and just understanding that how we say things really, really will shift that feeling within us. So yes, so thank you to our listeners who are here. May this conversation just be this gentle reminder to you that everything you need is already within. We just have to do the work and show up every day to ourselves to clear that path back to that all-knowing you. So I'm just so grateful to have you here. If you want more, there's other episodes. You can check out Superbloom Podcast on osharose.com. And thank you all. Thank you all for tuning into the Superbloom Pod. Thank you for being part of this community, choosing you, choosing a soul-led, purposeful, driven life. And until next time, thank you all and take care.